Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys an AFK money making guide. So there's going to be specifically 4 different AFK money makers that you can do. If you guys do find some of these money makers helpful, definitely hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Also make sure you have your notifications on so you do know when I upload next. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So starting off with our first method, we have screening archaeology soil. So the only requirement is level 20 archaeology, and that is because you are going to want to be screening the fiery brimstone. Now, recommended is a high archaeology level. So the higher your archaeology level is, the more materials you will be collecting from screening the soil. So for example, 110 or higher, that is the best. So you will get the most materials if you are above level 110. So if your archaeology level is level 110 or higher, then you will be able to make the most amount of money from this method, which is around 5 mil per hour. If your archaeology level is lower, then your GP per hour will be lower, but you will still at least make profit off of this. I would suggest having at least level 93 archaeology if you are going to be doing this method. That way you will still make some pretty good profit. Some other recommendations: 50 summoning, that is for the Water Fiend familiar because it gives you a 5% chance of doubling the materials. Also, an upgraded soil box is super helpful because then you won't have to go back and forth to the bank a bunch. Grace for the Elves, fully charged. You are going to want to use your Sign of the Porters. It will be a bit more costly, but you will make more money because you'll be able to collect more materials per hour. Now, the last recommendation is highly recommended. You will really want to have the Master Archaeologist outfit. This not only gives a 7% increase to the screening success rate, but it will also increase the speed down from 1.8 down to 1.2. So it really will speed it up a lot. And of course, this is really important. It's going to boost your GP per hour a lot. So if you don't have this, you're probably only looking at about 2 mil per hour. But if you do have the Master Archaeologist outfit, you can go up to 5 mil per hour. So this method is pretty simple. You will want to just fill up your soil box and then just go to the screening station and continue screening the soil. So you will want the Grace of the Elves on, as I have mentioned, and you can fill your inventory with a few extra Sign of the Porters so you won't have to go bank very often. But this is basically it. You're just going to want to continue screening the fiery brimstone and then go fill up your box whenever it's empty. And all the materials will go straight to your bank if you are using the Sign of the Porters. And overall, this method is extremely AFK. As you can see, it takes about 170 seconds just for one set of 100 soil to screen. So that's almost 3 minutes, which is really good for an AFK money making method. Especially one where you can make up to 5 mil per hour. So overall, this is a really good AFK method. Now moving on to our next AFK moneymaker, we have killing crystal shapeshifters. This is another really good moneymaker, but it does have some high requirements, being 99 Slayer, so you can put them in your player-owned Slayer dungeon. That is basically the only way this can become an AFK money-making method, and they are extremely tedious to kill if they are not in the player-owned Slayer dungeon. You'll also want 95 Prayer for Soul Split and Turmoil. Crystal Shapeshifters can hit extremely hard, so you will want a high-level combat gear. And then the other requirements: Jack of Spades, so you can unlock Menaphos, and also the Light Within. Recommended is also at least 2 crystal equipment, and that is because when you do get your second piece of crystal equipment, then it will actually increase your damage you deal against these crystal shapeshifters by 10%. Also, you will be able to collect an extra Tardian crystal for every kill, which is really important because they are priced at around 3k each when you trade them in for the crystal equipment. So now looking at the gear setup as well as the inventory setup, as you can see, I do have the crystal boots and the crystal gloves, and this gives me that 10% damage boost. I also have masterwork. I'm using a scythe, which is really important because you will want to use all your AoE abilities against them. And then also vampirism aura is really helpful. You could also use a vampirism scrimshaw as well. It will make this method much more AFK. That way you won't have to continually eat food and just watch your health so much. So if you do want this method more AFK, definitely bring a vampirism scrimshaw as well. Also, another really important item to bring is the Amulet of Souls. You are going to want to use Soul Split at this method, so that is why this amulet is definitely the best one to bring. For the inventory setup, we have the Enhanced Excalibur, always really useful. Bring the Spring Cleaner if you do have one, and then also some Overloads and some Prayer Restores and stuff like that. Then just bring a bit of extra food just for emergencies. So as you can see, I have 3 crystal shapeshifters in my player-owned Slayer dungeon, and I find this is enough. They can hit you extremely hard at times, especially if they all stun you at once. So you really do need to watch out for that. And as I said, if you do have the Vampirism Scrimshaw, it'll make this a lot easier. You will be able to be a bit more safe, and it will be a bit more AFK for you. But it does depend on how many crystal shapeshifters you do have in the Slayer dungeon. You could up it to 4 or 5, and then a Vampirism Scrimshaw would basically be needed. And you might make a little bit more profit per hour, but of course you are going to have to pay for that Vampirism Scrimshaw as well. Now these are extremely good GP per hour creatures. They drop a lot of notables as well as a few alkables. And they also drop the Tardian crystals. They drop these every kill. About 3 every kill, so they are extremely profitable because they're around 3k each per Tardian crystal when you do exchange them. Now another thing that I would like to mention about this method is you will want to have all your AoE abilities set up in your action bar, and you can go on Revolution. So as you can see, I have Meteor Strike first, then Hurricane, Quake, and then Cleave. It is a good idea to have something like that along those lines, just so you can hit them all at once. And as you can also see, I am using Soul Split. And the reason why you want to do this instead of using Deflect Melee, it is because if you use that, it will cause them to change to a different form. So they could change to their mage style. And then, of course, Deflect Melee would just be useless. So that is why you just want to use Soul Split, because it can always be used, and then they won't change forms. So overall, this is a pretty good money-making method. It does require a lot of high-level requirements, and it also is a little bit less AFK than some other methods because you will need to just pay attention some more and make sure you don't die. But overall, it is a pretty good method. Also, if you do plan on using more crystal equipment, then that would also lower your reclaim cost if you did happen to die. So you could do that and it would be a little bit more AFK and you wouldn't really have to worry about dying. Now moving on to our next method, we have making Sophanem dungeon teleport tabs. This is another extremely AFK method where you can make up to 4 mil per hour. There are also just a few requirements for this method, being ranked 4 reputation in any Menethos district. Also, Jack of the Spades as well as 40 construction is needed for this method. It is a pretty AFK method. You'll be AFK for around a minute and a half at a time, and you can make around 4 mil per hour. So first off, to make the teleport tabs, you will require 1 soft clay as well as 2 law runes, so just make sure you do have that. You are going to want to make them in your player-owned house at the lectern. So once you get here, you can just simply click on the lectern and make the Menethos Slayer dungeon teleports. Now, as you can see, it does take 90 seconds to make 26 of these teleport tabs, so you will be able to make approximately 1k per hour depending on how fast you get the soft clay back from your butler. And you can make around 4 mil per hour from this method. It is pretty good. You get a minute and a half of AFK time each time you make the teleport tabs, so that itself is really good. And as you can see, the profit per tab is about 4k, which is pretty high as well. Now, when you do use all of your soft clay in your inventory, just call your monkey butler or your demon butler if you do have that, and just get him to fetch some soft clay for you. That is probably the fastest way to do this method. Now, the last AFK money-making method that I'm going to be showing you guys is killing Chaos Dwarves for around 3 to 4 mil per hour. So the only requirement is forgiveness of a Chaos Dwarf. Also recommended is 75 plus magic, 70 plus defense. Soul Split is also recommended. It will make this method a lot easier. However, you can use food as an alternative. Also, make sure you have the Demon Horn necklace or the Twisted Bird skull necklace. as well, because this is really helpful along with the Bone Crusher. It'll give you basically unlimited prayer, which is going to be super helpful at these Chaos Dwarves. So one tip that I would recommend is going into your settings and changing your loot beam value. So it's just under item drops in loot beam. I would suggest setting it at about 10k. That way you will be able to see all the muddy keys as well as the hand cannons and of course the dragon pickaxe. So you are going to mainly want to focus on killing the hand cannoneers. That's because they can drop both the hand cannon and the dragon pickaxe, and that's where you are going to be making most of your money off of this method. As you can see, the hand cannon is only a 1 in 132 drop rate and does sell for around 700k each, so that's a lot of profit that you are going to be making off of that. Other than that, you might get a few muddy keys. You could bring some magic note paper if you want to pick all of those up. They're worth about 12k each, so you can make a little bit of extra money off of that. But most of the money is going to be coming from the hand cannon as well as the dragon pickaxe if you do happen to get one. You can also get some hand cannon shots as well, which will be a bit profitable also. Now also, if you do have the scavenging perk on any of your equipment, this would be a good time to use it. You are going to be getting a lot of kills per hour here, approximately 500 or so. So that is going to be really good. Another thing to mention is that you shouldn't use degradable equipment. As you can see, I am using my subjugation robes. So they, of course, don't degrade, as well as my armadillo staff. So I don't even need to use runes here because I do have unlimited air runes. So bringing something like this is going to be pretty helpful and just save on the costs of this method because you don't really need any high level gear here. They're pretty low level chaos dwarves and stuff, so you will just be able to kill them pretty easily with some mid-tier gear. Now another thing that you are going to want to make sure you do use is the right abilities. So as you can see on my action bar, I start off with Sunshine and then Tsunami. These are both on ultimate abilities, so usually you won't actually use Tsunami because you won't have the adrenaline for it. But the main abilities that you will want to use include Dragon Breath and Chains. Also, if you do have Corruption Blast, that is a pretty helpful ability as well because it is sort of like an AoE bleed ability. But mostly Dragon Breath and Chains is going to be super helpful. It'll allow you to aggro a lot of the different Chaos Dwarves, so it is a bit more AFK. You won't always need to click on all of them, which is sort of nice because you won't want to use aggression potions here. So basically just use Dragon Breath and Chains, and it should be able to make it pretty AFK, and you'll always have a few Chaos Dwarves or Hand Cannoneers attacking you. But aside from all that, that is basically it for this method. Just make sure you do have the loot beam set pretty low so you can see all of the drops, and just really look for those hand cannons and the dragon pickaxe, as well as the hand cannon shots and money keys. That's what you're going to be making all of your money off of. And so anyway guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you found this video helpful, and maybe some of these AFK money making methods will be able to make you a bit of extra money on your downtime or when you're trying to multitask with something else. But anyway guys, if you have any questions about any of these methods, let me know in the comments down below. And also if you have any other AFK money making methods that you would like to share, mention them in the comments down below. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.